afternoon. Welcome back to Radio Soldier today, 25th March 2021. As usual, Monday to Friday, the bulletins. The headline first, then after the details in both languages. First headline on Standard newspaper: Fonye Assembly aspirant plans to sponsor bill for Jammeh's return. High Court to hear Sabally'S suit against IEC today. WAATO of the week: IPC call for peaceful parliamentary elections. Nigerian community in Brikama recognize members at award ceremony. So then, DARBOE denies receiving money from NJIE GIRIGARA in exchange for ministerial job. $21 million is Access Bank theft. Case continues at High Court. MRC staff sues Nawek $6.5 million for injuring him. So those are the headlines so far from Standard newspaper. Let's go to Pointers upon newspaper. UK and Gambia still at loggerheads over prisoners' deportation. Economic forces not here to abate which happens in Casamas, the Information Minister Ibrahim Silla said. Silla blast majority leader over poor representation in Combo South. EU ambassador despite failure of security sector reform. He denied that. Gambia embassy in Washington's MOU with Harvard University to bring students on scholarship. Gambia participate in OIC Foreign Ministers Summit in Pakistan. That was today too. It was yesterday, but today also they have repeated it here. Let me see this one and down below. But we can find a profile of a National Assembly member of Banjul North, Usman Silla. And also OIC Gambia trains 35 tourism and hospitality trainers. IGSE trains 30 scouts on gender equality and others. World Water Day 2022, Pura renews commitment to promote protection of groundwater. So those are the headlines so far from Point Newspaper. Let's continue. Let me see further whether they have, because I couldn't get in before. Let me see. When was this? Anyway, I haven't seen the update first. Let me expand and see whether there are.
Of the expectation.
Let's go back and start with the first story we want to bring for you. We start with the Standard, the first story on Standard. Fonye Assembly aspirant plan to sponsor bill for Jammeh's return. This one by Omar Ba, Standard reporter, read by Hajaram Air Journal Spain. An independent candidate for Fonye Councillor, Almami Giba, has said if elected to the National Assembly, he would introduce a private member's bill to ask for former President Yahya Jammeh's return. Jammeh, who has been living in exile since 2017 after losing to Adama Barrow in December 2016, is accused of gross human rights violations, and the TRRC, which had those violations, has recommended his prosecution. But speaking in a standard exclusive yesterday, Mr. Giba said, if elected, I will solely work on a PMB to make sure that Jammeh returns home safely and serves as key role in the reconciliation process, and I will also seek for him to be pardoned. Mr. Giba added that without Jammeh, there cannot be reconciliation. I understand the pains and cries of victims, but I do believe that the only solution for this country to remain peaceful and stable is for us to forgive each other, he said. The IT specialist said he will also ensure that the Senegalese troops stationed in Fonyi are withdrawn, and the GFA battalion station in Fonyi, President Jammeh's Kanilai home, is relocated out of respect for the former head of state. I will also seek answers about Jammeh's assets because Jammeh himself and the people of Fonyi want to know how they were sold and the money generated from them because of his assets were seized and disposed of illegally without following due process. I am ready to be a champion against justice or injustice rather in the country, Giba declared, TRRC. Commenting on TRRC's recommendation for Jammeh's prosecution, Giba said the commission's recommendations should not be taken seriously because it has demonstrated bias throughout its hearings. He said the TRRC was reflected in its decision to recommend amnesty for Sana Sabally and deny the lies of former Vice President NJIE Sedi, whom he claimed has not directly participated in any killings. The TRRC has demonstrated from the beginning that it is not ready to establish the truth because this is the only truth commission where the lead counsel tells witness they are lying. We have seen truth commissions in several African countries, including Ghana, but we have not seen their counsels acting in that hostile manner, Giba added. He said if the Gambian people rather want to demonstrate their true Gambianness, they should forgive and move on. If Ghana can forgive Jerry John Rawlings, Jerry John Rawlings, why not Gambia? Why are you happy to see our former president being denied all his benefits and sympathetically living in a foreign land? Giba added. He suggested that Jammeh should be given the opportunity to respond to all the allegations leveled against him at the TRRC. We have just had people accusing him, but we don't hear from him. So I believe he should be given the opportunity to come back and speak to the Gambian people. He suggested it ends there. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back momentarily after a short jingle. Let me bring the jingle. asa mai mari ulo ma continue kibar kunla ning ngamen details so karang nana uftan lalla mandika kan nyinto komen dal dala nyamen ning separate yo kibar kun follow men findita standard newspaper wala biteo men abelo kan foni independent candidate yala ko ni ya tombong abe bill dala ka men private bill pour atilbe lolo bill of député bon pour say ya jamme murna banko kan nyama ni mo le reconcile nimboto to Momodi Sabal bila mo ala feti ala kitio men nyanta kala pour IIC la returning officer la decision men samba high court bila mo nyanta ka siya kunna ka jibe fo abe lono la ban fate lono bile ala fet nyin nin ku ko tam findi je ala fet nyin be lonna bile nimboto to e dof kew do fanam bonni men ko atle mo bugu safala la lokon nyin ko la safinya ka men ki yala do ko la vetale ka auto of the week IPC men be maraning interparty committee la ya komandro ki pro nyin parliamentary election o men kanatam fo aseke kairo kona nin tenkun nagiran la jama'an be sirin brikama sato nyinto ulfane sutero ke komen mol la men be ko la member solten men be la kafo nyin kono brikama sato nyinto nyo awod la nyinto hanbi kibar kun yo la Usain Dabo a balanta ko ate ko dole muta Pap Njai bulu ka me Pap Njai Girigara pour mon nadron sinana otuma be vice president yala pour ase ministerial post in diala o otuma be foreign minister malong which is which but WAATO me mansa kunda konnamu e ko nyin ko keta but Dabo yin ko nyin baile don't lay ka continue eko teome ya tumi ko ay million one killing awol sunya access bank ala kitio nyimbe continue kan high court la MRC la staffu fane nawek samba kitio la de ko nyanta ka ajo damage la tinyaro men kala ala balajato la ko men bita fo dala so million woro wuli cheme lulu ko men injury allung har sata nyanta men wato men nebe over fonko nyin waya nyin mi gaf men overpassing waya nyin men aka tambi silo kunna abo silo kardo kata silo kardo la waya nyin me bilarun duma ate maji anim masimma na da dunda da boyta singol katita balol be barambaranta baramanta so kamala kwa la marasi nyin o eddi fom satle comme ninkum say amantra nyama ko tege ala njurtale eta kurgat lekti o kamala abe nawek samala kiti la pour de damage men ka abala jato la sa ajo mu MRC la do ko lalte anim masimma lum har sa to yendo basi balaji yo hanibi ngata point in silver la kibar follow e mem bonni UK wala mu Angleterre man sakunda komen nin Gambia la man sakunda be dunni nyola pro Gambia de on men ko ye consider as a criminal ye mutala fana ye sorong dol beje balantel asylum wala dol beje comme ye kuja wala ke crimes committed serious crimes omol sainteng inin Gambia la man sakunda ye ko fadi nyola wala pro ki saynina Gambia banko kan bari comme ngalon watamita ko mama da bar ngamre mo kilim fula saba yewol saynina Gambia but the rest man sakunda man song kodake katugo janni be mo tala pour ka murna ala banko kan Gambia banko kan yenta jela ko Gambia dingolam so fo way sene ya folo janning ibe criminal o tala iba samal ne banko kan ka moto nyama ton ka foton banko do molle ko wote la banko kay wata tulma ajibe yo minister mem marta kibarol ning kamol kalam tande ko la mimbe masakunda ko ka menna information minister adiamata economic sojarol la comme wol mantra pour que makoro ka aninga demaro ke pour mun na dron membe kering Casamance silla Ibrahima Silla atlenyin kuma kan ate Ibrahima Silla kilenyin abata ma fa menna me yelti lidambo ma fa menna kombo south comme ayo tale ayo kajafi la me warta ko mu moleti men ate aman lo ala Combo South Moli Deputy Bonto I mean Dante Ibrahim Silala kuma kang information minister iyola ambassador mbesiring Gambia banku kang ay sosoroke komen failure wala Gambia ko Gambia bota mang ala security sector reform nying e maki kabring falindro kita kabring 2016 kana 17 mansakunda to sita ayo baile ku kadu ko nyimu dingral de daming akubo ka taria so kana fo komen nying mu fenneti falindro man soto jeto so ay doman ay betia ko wala betiata security reform nyinto komen ninkum atabe Gambia la mansakunda abi tentikong ila doko ni nata palindrom be kekan na tanko bunda nyindo Gambia la embassy min tambita mu lead Dawda doka nyinti watmo abe Washington ambassador yala atara krabondo university kaf damen Sevad University damen ni na teben kamben musinya kaf mena MOU pro sato nying o university nyimbe sato mento mafo nyin geto Washington osi sponsor keno komen ka Gambia dingulta ki samana geto rangola scholarship nyamoto wefari komen pro ete fenjola karang aning iladulal betu na soto geto o lung ceremony men ke la town hall to jeto wala bon yo ko Gambia ye adake komen OIC la foreign minister ila bengo nyinto Pakistan saro kono kuno nyin cibaro fintitale bi fanang fintita yo mata duma ani bi point la yar ngul point la nyin cibar kundo Usman Silla bangin not la député woni membe kalo PDOIS yala profile nyin e wala bondi janto yo OIC Gambia trains wal fanang na Gambia men be sire nyin muslimi banko la en kafo kan ye karandro ke molla men komen torisol maranyala kafa nyamen ki jia nyamen hospitality trainers comme to le dollar train men nyanta ka model train nyamo trainers wala mol nimboto to ikavu kafo me IGSA wal fanaye mol karandi men be ko scout men kane balobo ka bata moli ka mol dema men be kolea kokono ka fo scout comme fana be ko comme space police wala moti comme pro mun community works ikole ke ninata dingral to tarin ka makoro ke scout la do womu walati fanan ye mo tan sabale karande nyin kafome ka fa IGSA wala the Gambia Scout Association wala mula acronym comme IGSA yin so World Water Day wala dunia bela lungume ka geo men hatama den ko balwala lungunyin ka jura comme ko kabo 2022 inan sango comme pura na Public Utility Regulation Authority wal fane kutakutandro ke comme la bolla so yala ka jeko ka cikandro ke ka tankaro ke kiyo men ka soto banko dumala mo kana na amisusi kana atinya ka contaminate o kana kukala men satina hadama don sina na tora akoto anin fana mol sina foala wal fana yeo bengalek ya jura to ngamur koma ngamin folo karanno membe ko standard la kibar folo membe den independent candidate la men lota kabe lola pro foni pro kansala na kanyeta be private bilot dala de bonto pour ka je ko ya jamme murnang sinaje ko the side of history afanansina na anim molio sata anim fanan pour ka yam fanyoye pour ka murnyo kan susutna nyam because nabe banta ododo to kenola do wolem fanan mu bankola Cairo diamond dante o kamala na nyi ngitandi ko fo nyi kansalan ko la ko ni a tombong ata bay kato kala pour député bonto kaje ko c'est private bilo samba député bonto pour kaje ko ka député li se karto fa bilo nyi tambi pour même si ke ya jamela na sababoti Gambia banko kam pour ani molse murno nyoka nyame nin ku jamal to nga continue kibaro me asefe wala mu Umar Bati nimba kranga la jala na YouTube channel o internal dunda le subscribe and ali follow kasia Allah bade on anal kanunte wala na Facebook page ul fanando ati kilingole mo alien follow alien share to other people aje ko mo jama si futano baro nyima ko memu independent candidate de foni council ka fa almami giba ay nyim foko ako ni atombon pour national assembly député yala ko ati abi nana abi pride below sambala pour ka kanindro ke mon natron député bon to sinaje ko ya jamme murna gambia bank koka ako jamme min abi bantala abi sirinje ka men exile kabrisa fo aboita katre fawro 2017 2016 2017 atata abi sirin in bla nyinto membe ko Equatorial Guinea ko min ya tum men natron ko ay alamadi ya nyanto tinyamen ke Gambia banko kan damen tiarati na tonya anin fanan ka molta ke murninyo kan anin dedaro kansulo nyin komen e mem moy nina ta jibe kol men ko ay landa tambol men ke tinyarol men ke yoito komen ni recommendation men ke ya maro men di pro ate anyanta kata kiti nyatlengola komen ay men dante o kamala abdiam ka wato men na in kibar bunda e standard komen na damma kunun misa giba e men fo ko ni ya tombon ate aba jela ko pour ka do ko ke ni na ta ka men private member bill to pour ka je ko pour ya jamela murna tanko kono se tankano nyamen Gambia banko kan anim fana na saf e key role na ku ke men aba kuma ala bake ni na ta molla ka murun kan nyoka molla karola men tambita non ko men nata fawon nata o sinana keno ala do kotle men dante akon an I will also seek abina nyinindro kila fanan for him prat nying tew memu na president koto nyinte furu si yamfa e banko kan I see kana problem dial misa jiba e men la fa ko dat komen nying be nyamen komen ni ya jamme man na Gambia banko kan ako there cannot be reconciliation wala nyinte ko mulu nyo kan to sotno la Gambia banko kan aka lonko dimo membe mol fe nyola anim fana mol men kumbo kan men be ko mantora molten ya jamla marlo ko to sanyi mon nim flumen tamla ko abe larin ni nako that the only solution komen in ko member to bendi no dron wala nyinte ko pro nyim banko e wala nyinte ka tu Cairo kono na Cairo e continent wala nyinte anin ka tenkun ako be kala feneti men yaji be osto foji fono nyinte zon pro ndamalu nga yamfa nyoy ay men dante wala osatna ko Gambia se tarno hanibi o ase tuno ala Cairo anala tenko kono ay men dante nyimu molati ko IT specialist wal martin internet or computer nem fengolu ala londo fahamto kono bakela londo bala soto nyim bulma kala fengol tes jamala ban fengol tes membe ko computer nem fengol tes I mean, he will also ensure abajala ko pour Senegalese football men be station nem foni pour ye bondi jeto anim fanan kaje ko di Gambia armed forces men be na president ko don na coordinator ya jam kanila sa ta woni kono pour ye bondi e sound la koto to bunyala carol ni ajibe ko ning mu molete non nya bankola nyaton ko lem so amadi sa pour nyim sojaro litra ala korda kono kaje ke campo nyinda bo be nyinila dibte bon ako afani fanan abe nyinindro kila jabiro la pour mun ya jamme ala sota fengole ala asset katuko jamme himself comme jamme fon anim fanan ni ajibe molmen be foni la fita pour ka long comme ya jamme la yin fengol men wafita akodo men ya kodo men ya sota je from them ko wo fengol to ko katuko ni ajibe all his asset ala fengol be men basis comme men yitan ko ayitanda comme ninkumu fengeta dispose ye janjang comme ye wafin sa fo nyama illegally men anin loi manta comme nim fanan imang anyanta tamala silol men ka men due process nim fengol man wafi o nyama illegally anin fanan due process manta kolnyin ako wati be pare pour ka jeko atabe kala champion de koto comme nyaton ko kolla pour injustice wala tilimbalia in the country pour wosi bono Gambia banko kan jibaye men declare like diamo nyin kon tiara si fan ko la diam to fan da be diam ka wato men na tiara si la recommendation ko men ya jamme la kitindir ko la jibaye men fa ko commissioner member ko commissioner recommendation men NJIE should not be taken serious mon men na kata aning sobeala because munen katiko ako it has demonstrated yitan rokele ko bias komen kala nyok molkan nim falan true it's here in coming member ko ibe ila mo ka WAATO men na kol men soto je bias o wolan ro kala nyoka kala dol kay dol ta yewol denken karal ay même fois ko TRRC comme leim basi comme mu feniti itandita in its decisions comme ila decision men yata pour ka recommendation ko pour ko la membe ko kayam fam woli men be ko sana sabali ani fanan ka balang mo la men be ko na vice president koto memo asisa du tour sediti asisa du njay sedi men ay foko ate amang tara adaman ki kol kono directly comme te fan yin kol men ya la kanten ay mem dante wala munti mo fal any mo fa ka gambe ka adaman dunje directly comme balanta wala yamfo di sana sabala ko kamala woto nin yitan roke len recommendation wala karola bias wala tambita jeto ko TRRC wala yitan roke ko kabrin ko dati fo la ko dati fo ko that it is not ready to ngindi man pare puruka to nyallon de katiko ako this is the only truth commission ako nyinamu nyin tonya commissioner ti dunia kono daming lead councilor wala mlambe inyata jeto meme ko esa fala tomato fo bare comme atlem lead councilor men aka fo sedo le ko ibe wuli yalla ako namanan so dunia kono ako we can have seen truth commission ako se truth commission o jele African Banku Jama kan men be ko Ghana bari we have not seen mang jero ke komen loya men be nyaton kala akama nyamen in that hostile komen ninkumu nyo saba kendo men niaji be kola man akamta ko mo mantra to nya nyini kan komen hostile no mo to ni molbe dun nyola kanyo sabe pour mon ron forces it left men so sotno nyame ay kana mano je doto comme nyin siva men keta Ghana anamanan court jiba min dante he said if akonatra I mean for Gambianol if the Gambian people want to demonstrate they are Gambians comme nin Gambian ko la fita kaitan itol mu Gambian ko lati ako nyanda mo nekela ronga yam fa nyoy ngan tenten na kola ngamen kala nyotema nga continue wala ako nata Ghana si yamfano kewaye men keda o mo fala bati men na ke president de sojar ko toni afka so ni memu Jerry John Rawlings men ay mo men fa kabira sita si abatra kabirin jojol ni misal ni mojama bari Ghana ko na yamfo ako munat na Gambian ko ti yamfano nya ko why are you happy to see ako munat na atol Gambian ko lal be kondan na purgan na president unyi jeko ka balang ala benefit la comme tonomen anyanta kasuda ning fanan sympathetically living in foreign land comme abil wandi banko kan bala fa bali ala karola ni nata jibe abe sirin wandi banko kan exile jiba yemen la fa kuma kan nyinga natna men ta comme ate men fo ko comme ate men suggest wala jamme should be given comme nyanta ka WAATO de la promonas finance jabiro ke comme tumrol men be la kan comme ni nata TRRC la dinkra nyindo ko abe falan ko we have just had comme ngamo santen comme mol men be tumro ke kan him ati ko bari ati ya jamme e mate tamoy woto nyanda kala kuleti nyanda fanan bola fanata so I believe he should be given walling in that lari men na rong nyanda ka WAATO dia fanana tumo puru asinana Gambia banko kan idiamu Gambia de only comme ati fanana jabiro be kala menti ati men suggest to kuma kan yindandol mbalo ngakada dolar como kibarol be nyono ka nyama bina wala nyama nyindo bina sawo kala comme kibaro man jamfa sa attaque no nyina la hanne man jinklo ko jewlam Mahmoud Sabal comme bi bat la kitio kala high court to alal block cross nyo kan al tulun be Mahmoud Sabal fe ana fon comme bilemu abala fet lonna jumalem be kala presiding jojoti wala mu FA aki bonga membe sila high court bi Banjul puruka taroke membe dennin kayla moy sutni wala kitio min akosi membu ko Mahmoud Sabali against returning officer be brikama ay sila returning officer in commissioner men ko kiamano nying anim fanan ay sila kiamano anin Attorney General memu Minister of Justice ni mo sabol nin kuma en kiti okosi walel kan kuma ye balamo men ke pro ala nomination o men ya bay mo sabali memu UDP comme atele la firin kallo busumbalan consequence pour ka tombon ka ke député o nying April 9th April National Assembly contest men kanate ako iko has had his nomination coming ala reject ala nomination ya baile jumala bay membo ko officer do mesirin brikama officer nyinto brancho nyin katiko wala mu quality ko he was adversely coming a for battle ni na da gibe jane commission mun tambitan Gambia banko kan kabrin ansakunda kutu nada falindro kita ya jamela maralonyin Sabally abe ngindro ke kan oda la men kuma kan la men sembo men sebo ko pro high court na kiti bongor nyindo men ka decision ta ko bela ko ka laban daming pro ning IC la in decision me ya ta ten to pay for week pour ka jengen ni karla for him to contest pro atisina na kalono nyaming 9th April National Assembly election men kanaten ko men mata ning is set to start bi somandala mu ibe lamoy lala yin somandala telenkonto natamita militansa bol sasi keno metambo mento wolbe process kan membe to laje pour decision yin skeno atata sai skeno amanta follow but ate mela bari yin mukidilti me amanya naka jamfa bake so mi ta kingulo to doman ni mboto ton sinana kibar do fana sambale no membe denni GIRIGARA alay GIRIGARA ay men tumiro mella dabo kan no botaje sina kibar do fana sia bar mbe jinglo la follow kila je follow ngam rest do man nim fo seconds ngana murna Welcome back. Still with Sana Newspaper. The headline, DARBOE denies receiving money from Pa GIRIGARA in exchange for ministerial job. This one by Omar Bastana, reporter Riba Hajalam Arido Salgero. It's a short story. Now the details. UDP leader Hussein DARBOE has denied that he was ever given money by Pa Njai or Panjai GIRIGARA in exchange for a ministerial position. The businessman, now strong supporter of the NPP, was quoted by Freedom newspaper last year to have stated that he gave DARBOE $1 million in exchange to make him a minister if the UDP won in a certain election, and publicly changed DARBOE to deny his assertion. But reacting to the allegations for the first time in a Standard exclusive, DARBOE said, I have always felt that I should not edify the ravings and rantings of a person like Mr. Njai by responding to him. Let me say this, I have never sat with Mr. Njai at any time when he gave me $1 million. I was on tour in the provinces and he met Mr. Mane and offered to him on condition that he has a company that deals in call cards. He wanted us to give him an exclusive contract, exclusive right for that. he also wanted to be appointed minister. My response to Mr. Mane was that when it comes to the call cards, there is no way that we can make such a commitment because this has to go through a proper procedures of procuring. For a ministerial position that is left to the prerogative of the president, which could be considered, I never gave that to him as an incentive. I think his company was called Westcom. He wanted Westcom to order all cards for Gamtel. I said, well, that no, we cannot give that. We have to go through the normal procedures. He also told Mr. Mane specifically what ministry he wanted. Communications, I told Mr. Mane, wouldn't that be conflict of interest if he is Minister for Communication and wanting his company to be supplying Gamtel call cards? I told him that would be conflict of interest. That's it, DARBOE said. So it ends there. Stay tuned and we'll be back momentarily after a short jingle. Hanu yambare olo continue. Bara men karana sante me meden DARBOE ay bayro men ki pap NJIE GIRIGARA komen ay kawmen lala ko ay kodol diala pro ni kanyete ase minister palaso dial. Imukuleti is incredible, this man. Abira lota fonko ya fonla abe fonko ya ngini kan meo ya kanifing. Manya jele nying ati amara komen antala jeroto at lakodo, he can buy anything he want from Gambian people. Ngajele la debate kono aning aspirantol men lotanu Kanifi municipality la meo ya la ay manyamen kijeto just to express himself. Tukajiko he is a millionaire. Bidum fa inherit ala nyadi le atia soto kodo soto nyam fa inherit le fa fonla du kola siamo bidum. Yo best known to him. So ngana continue coming DARBOE bayro men kala kuma kawla kabrisa for election obina sila in president carte fay follow men tamita Gambia banko kan ko ning UDP kanyeta lafta DARBOE ya teke on sa furon coalition ni kanyeta lafta DARBOE ya teke minister palaso aso dial. So DARBOE balanda nyin kola kate kodo tap pap NJIE GIRIGARA nyin bulle pour mo na ron ka falingay mon na kana ka minister palaso nyin diala DARBOE ko atani namanan sidula kilinto damen se dunyin kacha kono ay men danti ting barani modu kacha le way men fay wotmo be tribo nyin kono santo la provinces kana dun kibaro fon kono mi asafe Omar Ba standard la kibar sala men bakran kan la jarwan na YouTube channel jang anina Facebook channel beto na dunta ali subscribe na YouTube channel o nyinto na Facebook page ol beto alien follow alien share jama seftana wanyame tusa nga continue Kiibaaro nyinna Umar Baye men safi nyin kola bon kumeri nem bar bile DARBOE jabiro ka kola men finta bi bari amalla fi ko nyin kusifa ni nyin manya sifa purka jabiro ko mo sifa la nyin kuma kan sifa eko memu nyaton koti usenu DARBOE yodi fi balanta komen ka kodo ta mo bulu membe ko pap nyai GIRIGARA pro asinana na minister palaso dial o kamala ko nyin chew businessman olemu safar lalemu men sa eko sai ate te abambanta bake Adama Barola patiyo yinde ka me NPP inadna ala kuma kamuda freedom newspaper pam den mbaila tala ala newspaper nyin kuma last year serun sang kono ko ate memvo wala nginte ko ay kodo di menta da fudala so million killing la usenu dabala pour mun na dronga se minister palaso di ala nata if UDP comme ni UDP kanyeta certain elections comme electional men kanaten anim fanan publicly ni mukulati men DARBOE na publicly publicly challenge kuma finta banda ay DARBOE challenge comme ka nin kuma ka me afoten ka DARBOE challenge ala ni na tajibe to deny his assertion comme ate men fo ala kuma kono men fo ko DARBOE ate ko ala ko ay DARBOE challenge wala pour DARBOE finti ayo ko faniyan o a tonya andi so nyinem kote DARBOE na konyin snoble aman diama kola because DARBOE memfo konyin kuma sifalu ani nyem mo sifalu len diamo sifa tiaje ko pando yalam pour ka jabiro ko kusifa la bari anatna na wakil ka jabiro ke komen yin kallan no men a keten ka men allegation for the first time coming yin kol la tato ni santema inem sinya foloti ay min itande nyin koto standard ye exclusive comme aning standard damma mo Kiibaaro sala ba nginin ka kan aning atefan ba jabi ka te DARBOE ay memfo ako I have always felt that comme ate wata kamen mira wala o kamenje wala nginte ko should not edify comme kola membe ko nyin kusifal men kanana alfintinanting ni nata molla karola men be ko NJIE Mr. NJIE wala pap GIRIGARA NJIE pour ka jabiro ke o mo sifal ako let me say this kama kabe nga yabula ayim foko ako ati anamanan si la killing aninyi Mr. NJIE at any time wati man soto mu meke pour munna ni kay million men foten ka diala ko namanan soto ala baluwo kono aninyi chewo si la killing pour ka kodo dial abi WAATO minna ko abe tokan province santola ay memfa ko aning mo benday kaf me Mr. Mane na overcall comme pro ati DARBOE se makoero kala pour conditional la karola membe ko I offer kai because offer omu fenedi maybe alafta fenedi la DARBOE la bari kon abekela dayile kan dayilo men ko al ati company la babul company nying wala do ko muneti pro ala do ko kala muneti pro sim kato nyamo sim kato wala mu yimbulma kalan telephone wal kono ka kato mbla kono pour se access o sodno data traffic o nyinne pour se commandro keno nyinna nyamen ani intel nin ku koton alla fita DARBOE ya makoy pour yo contrat ko diala so ay offer ke DARBOE pour nyin sim card ka odana pour ka sopla o kala Gambia Bankoka kala fita pour drong kaje ko ka nyin diala exclusive contract comme nyin contrat ko ni a diala ta dila company ko le Gambia Bankoka ta damma ala company nyin Mr. Mane Memfai ko ni ajibi nyimu feneti exclusive right for that comme at lafita mena drong damase o nyanto sodno Bankoka mo kote company kote kana na nyin kato odana Gambia Bankoka but ngallo jan domani mpango na opinion line note ni anto la banko titano nyim mu fenneti Gambia banko mol ka Gambia banko mutako they are the righteous citizens comme tollam banko dingol men kukurni lafta la nyanta kele tolle look at this badion nembe continue la dabola kuma kala ngayin dialogue jeto na ndo la banko te progress no la this kind of people yin habit siva be molla men always itul kala fitrong kokurne na betata ay tretul la karol usai nga continue ci waro nyin ning exclusive right ni men akafoten mo manyana kofo banko kan bari inyon lebeye men they have the potence, they have the intellectual, they have so many things. Nina kodola anything is a keno. So why nyanda kati de mal? Fu bankola na fight de mal nyanda kata. Ko ate lafita drong puruka je ko fanan kata ka ke minister tati nyin ke kilo nyin. Msadawo la jabiro la nyin mani ako was that wala nyin ko te nana ta when it comes ni anata puru nyin cell phone card nyin na wala SIM card nyin na ako kol silo lebije men we can make such a commitment silo lebije men there is no way that we can make such silo lebije ubatina la ko itenyin keno la ni ajibe puru ni nata ko le nyanta ka kol nyameng katuko nyim this has to go through nyanta kata silalla silo men ka men proper adidata nyama tamandri nyalla kola pro munna procuring comme sandrola karola inata gibe nyimu silalti nyim sim card ko nyanta kata wala kamala atita kenol ako ninata fanan minister palaso nyinna ay min jaabi wata ko wo betula jumale bulu asembobe jumale bulu wala mu president nyinti o sembo tate bulu mu dingiralti dame president la ke motombon ka kijeto o tate bulu wala fay o fanan ako which could be considered in security men ka muta ka je ko anyanta kala wala nyama nyimu fenati ka consider o nyam ako ati I never give that to him as a incentive kuma namnan kuma fuat uchawni ko membe ko incentive ni o rong entitil da malka nyoma ko nyamen komen palasol membe palasol to o company ka nyoma ko nyamo incentive ni o to incentive rong de marol kana men bebe kukilon kono nyatan ko lo do kurlato company ten pour ka nyo dema se progress no nyame ako nyemu fenneti ati namana nyen kusifa ke woli mol ten akay men foten wala grigara anin nyin donya ako ay memira wala nyenti ko his company was called ako in kew nyin na company to fon ako amira ko ka fayne Westcom ala nyin sim card company to mol anim fanan alla vida ko nyin Westcom pour ka order ke feŋol la men be ko sim card la pour gamtel wala na gamtel wala telephone company ba faŋo man sakunda ta bankota nyin dol be katra men ko le ka contrat ko di GMC company la ko men pour ata damma kali u kato order woli ay men fo te kekilon nyin Mr. Mane nyin DARBOE men dande na tenten fana men fa ko I said, well, that ako nyim kome niaji be nyimbe nyamen wala nyinti ko no honey ako because ako we cannot give that ako teo dinola wala quotati quotata anata DARBOE men for chewni ako you have to go through normal procedures ako nyanta kata silol men belori nyin kokuna nyanta katama nyamen for ya soto I mean dante not tenten fanan he also told Mr. Mane akanyim for Mr. Mane specifically comme ala foro nyindo bitum Mr. Mane yin fo wala mwate ala GIRIGARA wan fo another man mbari Mr. Mane nina ta gibi diamobe nyamen mbe GIRIGARA la kumola kono bar Mr. Mane toka finti bari comme dabola long whom he means Mr. Mane ako specifically nina ta gibi ako what ministerial alafta menna ko nyin kewo ate Mr. Mane nya nyininka ko ite lafta minister palace juman so sai ko jibe here the dabola comment nyin kono perceive something so akwai ko communication so sai ni amo communication wala mo chokinyolola. So gamtel ning kukotong bebe wala koto. So say ning ata dawo comment happen to convince Adam Baro Puru Kanyim Palaso di Mr. Manila o GIRIGARA because ata ka follow from Mr. Mane. So nimbekela kuleti obenakela conflict of interest wabol kamen kumandi wala komen kuo ka samane ifon koto. Ari ningata be communication ministerial. So nying company do la be ol falale ning kumuni nata in terms of nying sim card ning GMC line ning kukoton la ababe katan la ate fon la koto wala mdrong conflict of interest DARBOE men dantiai komen nai minister palaso nyin soto membe ko communication o choknyolo la ten. Akum fanan alla vita his company alain company kilome aka foten puru ati sina nalo kalo Gambia la telecommunication kunda banyin na puruka sim card nyin ta ka supply auto I mean dande DARBOE men fay ko that would be conflict of interest kuma DARBOE men fay wala nyinti ko nyimbe kala fennati don ko ka sammane fon koto tuwabol kaf mena conflict of interest wati atla interest abola fight la bari nata keta minister de company babulu men men kanyum festival tamande woto kontragol bibita wala DARBOE men itandal ani men kungo buka tama ngamira ninata the best way of practicing the things. I think you wouldn't offer such a contract to a particular person who is a minister of the same institution. Puruka diala nyatonko ming you are competent enough puru kajiko equality kabanko kang kakwalt ke normal procedure even the president mamira directly aseo ke moye ming silankena mahana abekela maybe tokor la company or somebody will represent the company but the same minister ala company wena na atekoto institution le meje kana mara wala supply fen la wo DARBOE memfo that's true mo tawkela because momo ke fije role bineka ibina kuma el fole ma men itna la fila kama because iman tilengo taman le DARBOE memfo mo se sonko wala because imano I can ascertain that this man he can say whatever he want because ngala ala debate do kalam tala ning aspirantol me ol men lota men aspirantol men ko ilafta lola meyo carte fawala ka diam je nyamen from that day I just put X on this man inara kola tanyala ala fida men ron forcela pour moliati endose wala men atadamale yo disaf so sai ngene kumoti men DARBOE ajamena mina muro la nyato damane ning konko botala jingulo botala kan tatula Welcome back. Still with Standard Newspaper. The headline: $21 million is Access Bank theft case continues at High Court. This one by Binta A. Ba. Standard reporter read by Harjadama Jeruna Spain. Now the details. Pa Hari Jame, lawyer for former Access Bank Gambia Limited employee, has accused Momodu Julde Jallo of fabricating evidence in court that he was nominated by the bank to attend training in Dhaka. Your entire evidence in court is a fabrication. You arrange everything. Jame quiz Mr. Jallo while denying reply is all enough and he was my supervisor. The bank staff is accused of stealing over $21 million alongside a co-worker. He is facing 18 charges of money laundering, fraudulent accounting, and destroying evidence alongside Sergio Cor. They were arrested in Dhaka and later put on trial at the High Court in Banjul in 2020. Do you know the place of training you said you were going to attend? Lawyer Pahari further quizzed, but Jallo replied in negative, saying bank officials were supposed to pick them from the hostel to the training ground. Were you given allowance before departure to the said training? Pahari further pressed. Jallo responding, Mr. Jallo said we were asked to use our own money. When asked how the bank allowed them to go to Dhaka, knowing that the bank would be closed as they were the most senior at the Bara branch, he replied that he had sent a leave to the Kairawa Avenue branch after his nomination. Jallo disagreed with the lawyer's statement that there was no cash shipment on 28 October 2020, as he alleged in his evidence before the court, as the bank would have notified the Bara police. I am putting it to you that on that Friday, the reason you stay in the bank until 3 p.m. with one Yasin Jallo, prosecution witness, was to convert the money into dollars. Pahari said, but he replied that wasn't true. I am also putting it to you that you never met the first accused at the border in Karang, but you went to pick him from his house. And it was you who shared the money among yourself. Well, before you reach at Kerengo village, and each of you had 12,000 US dollars, Pahari quiz. But Jallo said he doesn't know the village the lawyer was talking about. It didn't say stay tuned. Don't go back momentarily after a short jingle. Assalamualaikum mbadi ngolo ka alkonton ma continue ngina be la kibar la mawti me men karan stan ngata point fana ngawol fanna kibar do jibe nim kibar leti men access bank la do kula men ay kodo sunya enta da fu million mo anin killing dalaso ina ta falin dollar la da mali atla nyote ma nim modo porte tata da kari tate mutaje kapin 2020 wato nyinko men kibaro so wala binta e bati ko lawyer me ka fay Pahari Jame men ko momen bejo kola non Access Bank Limited ila dokula as accused koma tumirola Momodu Julde Jallo kanko be sedia men be di kan o ala evidence o be adikiti dula komen he was nominated comme ya tombonne ko atem molti men banko ba sambala kata ka train Dakar sata wonyento bañ Senegal o ñim fennati to ñante o kumoti tumiro men la Momodu Julle Jallo kan ko men ñimbe ko men fe kan abatida kan afang me ka men fabricating ako ite lañin evidence ol ko men len sede afang men ye foten kiti lañin to en be mo fennati te fangle te da kanana ke kafunyoma pro ñim be tu ñim kol men ka foten jamme wala mu loya ñinti na ñinin ka menna wala Mr. Jallo ko kutumo balanta komen ka jabiro ka ti jallo nyin ko komen he is old enough kata mukke balti men, and he was my superior komen nyin mukke balti nim fanan ala nyaton ko la mati o kamala ma ajabi nyi kuma kawo men fam jallo so katenten ko nyajibe banko la indokula men ya tumiko ay kodole sunya mentata fu million muang anin kilin dalaso anin mo do memo do kulati banko to jeto pa continue hani bi comme ñinu ñaabe tilin men na kiti blato sa ye tumiro men le kan wala mo kaf men na tumiri tang anin sey ya wala le kan comme money laundry ka kodo yela man di nyala men silo manta ka senende anin fraudulent tapalayala ni nata fanan ka accountol te molla control ke tinya anin fanan evidence molla control comme ka fraudulent accounting ke comme ka tapalaya control de anin fanan ka tinyaro ke molla evidence on men bije to ka tinyaro ke wala anin mo membe ko sajo kor len manyak kunyum keta moliti natne muta Dakaru Senegal sato nyindo wala la mo natna na samba kitio nyatlon Gambia Bangkok and High Court 2020 sang kono sanji fula command. A continue hani bi atinyi mokilon lenko ko niagibe, do you know the place come yata nyininka mi accused person on yin fo I think ral ne come banko ba kila damen ata training na janyanta kila damen lawyer Hari Pahari waya nyininka wala ko bari jallo nyin na ajabi men na ko amalong ay men fuko banko la nyaton ko lol nyanta ketol sika hotel to ke samba dinkrangin to be karango kala dame ala kumo ay men dante kabra be jabiro ke kan loya nyi yate jallo nyi ka continue hani bi ay men di wala ngente ko ay men fu ko where you giving Pahari le nyin fa kai ko sai alawanso men kodo men yanta ka dialla be men domola jeto jannal bita ya dialla mintole katangin training la Paharle nyin press nyin konyin par jallo natna jabiro la karola men fa ya ko ati jallo nyin men fo ngin da ko we are asked to use our own money ko banko ko nyante fangola kolole use la so mukule di men sai ne agibe loya ya mutale di amokon ba to kenol sai kabri ya nyininka how the bank allow comme fo abe keno la nyadi banko be altul bulala pour kata Dakar ka lonko comme ni haji be banko nyin would be close comme banko bina soronale as they were the most senior at the bara brang nung itolle moldi men nyaton ko le moto brancho be bara nyin ko keda damen ni bita badib ay jabiro ko men ko that he had sent comme ate ay kiro ke fengle ya comme ya kile pour atata lifola leave form comme ate kiro ke leave form wala pour minto to take the Kairawa Avenue Brand pour wala kataro ke Kairawa Avenue Brand after his nomination kabrina na tombo ay men fote ay ate letro ki pour leave wala leave form nyinna to the Kairawa Avenue branch nyinto damen kabriya tombo la foro nyindo bari nyaangi ni gala nyin ko be keno la nyaadi al tol be banko bita soron na la tol mu nyaaton ko fontal malo membe kering ku woto la ko banko nyin na soron ko la jabiro ke dawol natna tentem fanan ko ate jallo balanta nyin na ko loya nyin ala statement to ala kuma kangol kono ko that there was no cash coming at yafuko kodi man tara indularo men cash shipment nyanta ka men samba on the 28th October haro tili mwanni sewala 2020 sang kon asi ali komen ya atumi men anim fana in his evidence komen ala dia mol kono komen mem bekilala sedia kuma kaunte ko before the court kitidula nyadlon as the bank komen banko nying would have notified ko amko nyanda kalamtandro kala ko nying dingrato membe ko bara police la karola nyanda ka itandro ke nying kola komen ay mem fo kitidula nyindo ko he alleged as he alleged in his evidence committee to for ala sedia kono ko before the court kiti odla nyatlon la ko as the bank comme banko nyi would have kono nyanta kanyin quota ka futandi bara police ka kalamtandi meme kering jet continue at like na nyim fay ko it to you put to you comme ay men fay ko wala ngente ko lungo la men ko jumalongo la daylo men keta ko te moni keta daylo ti fon the reason that daylo fon katra banko kono kabring isa fo telen saba until fo telen saba uraro I mean dante ini muso me ka fay ko yasin jallo ito ni mofulol ni jallo fulol to letata banko nyin kono jeto fo telen saba ko prosecution with ate muso ni nat lege prosecution witness nyinti kam me lorin kidilla la karol was to combat wala nyinti don puruka kodo yele mandi dala so ka yele mandi dola kodola bari ate dala so don no la bantala o kamala nin kodo foya falling foreign money la enabe escape la nyam pa hari yim fay ko bari he reply ko men pa hari men fate jabiro ko that wasn't true ko pa hari be men fo kan lo anyo manke tonya akoti fanan ni ajiba abayim fola ko ay ko that you never met the force accused ko men mo fenati ete enen yim force accused me ka foten ina man ben at the border into damen boko karang natna tenten wala mun ane kungoto karang badi bo ma fonga ni bita Senegal ko bari you met or you went comme ite nyin kyo nyin jallo nyin itata puru nyin kata ala bungo kono itata ta wala to ina man ben karang tara tala bungo kono pa har le yin fay anim fana ko and it was you comme telefona geta modi who said comme me ko dot la da mal tema well before janiba fulal be futala sata me ka foje ko kerengo village comme tol kono kilon kilim momor ni dola wulitan nem fula wala soto pahari e men fo jallo natna yininga ko bari jallo e men fo wala nginti he doesn't know amalong jinka sata o men fo membe ko nyin loya pahari I mean dante kaw be men fo kanten ala kuma kan nyin dandol malon mina nya daman ne bita kibar fula fanangi be la point ngadang woto Welcome back. Now with point in the headline. UK and Gambia still at loggerheads over prisoners. This one by Alhaji Mbai, the Point Europe correspondent. Read by Hajadam Air Radio Saljeruma Spain. Now the details. London and Banjul are currently at loggerheads, bickering over detained and imprisoned Gambian national due for deportation, but refused to be accepted by Gambian authorities over genuine unresolved matters. The wrangling between one of the friend-list allies in Africa was made public recently when UK Home Secretary Priti Patel reportedly told the Sun newspaper in London that the Gambia was the first on the Home Secretary's list over the current matter. The Home Secretary revealed that Boris Johnson's government will not only slow visa application from any countries that is reluctant to take back criminals, but will also impose penalties for refusing to cooperate. Since the spite, the point continued to uncover the reason behind such drastic actions as well as the reason they entry for the undiplomatic incident, especially when a Gambian diplomat told this correspondent that we are surprised by the disclosure. Nonetheless, the Home Secretary insisted that the government will impose visa penalties on countries who don't cooperate on deportation, including those who are abusing our hospitality. It is also revealed that the Gambia took only 4 criminals and decided to ignore the rest. However, responding to this correspondence, a Gambian diplomat said, "Of course, we replied to the complaints. Also, we accepted those we can identify as Gambian nationals. However, what we cannot do is to accept people described as criminals who are not verified as Gambians." However, other section of the media is arguing that the right-wing press has taken the country hostage. Vulnerable people, including asylum seekers, are rejected and ostracized, while others are accepted and welcomed. A Home Office spokesperson responding to our inquiries said, "The Gambia is one of our most trusted allies in that region. We rightly pointed out that the UK takes back its citizens who commit crimes abroad. Therefore, we are equally asking not only the Gambia but for others to also do the same." So far, there are thousands of prisoners across the country awaiting deportation, prompting the Home Secretary to also play to fix the fundamentally broke asylum system and make it firm and fair. Just stay tuned back momentarily after a jungle. Sabaly madon ka kun le science on da point is wala indo Angleterre banko anin Gambia ko e kongol se nyola membe denning kaston kolla kola me kibaro safe mo fulalem alaj mbay anin fanan point la correspondant be Angleterre banko ka o Europe konon safo nyam e ko London anin banyun santen membe tema wala e kongol se nyola de membe denning kolla mol meni be marale bulu kaso nyento Gambia deol Gambia banko deol ju meni yanda ke ina ki sayndina Gambia banko kam bari Gambia balantale pour kasong minu ke samanan Gambia banko kan Gambia la nyatonkol comme abiden nen kula men daylo le bije men amang sol folo o mata ko le bije men nyanta ka toporo ko la isnana je ko pour que bula kana men mu Gambia de ko en ko mbe mol tema te membe ko bankol men kafnya warte tema Africa o nyin anadna na findi jama kono sante membe ko UK Angleterre banko men be marle luntan la ko le ka dame Home Office men be nyaton kala ka fay Priti Patel ay reporto bonde ay men fo kibar bunda do Angleterre banko ka fo tilo newspaper ka son newspaper London sata wonyen kono comme Gambia mu banko fololti on the Home Secretary comme Home Secretary la listo kono men santen nyin ko be ni men tema comme nyin deportation ko nyi la banko de la Carol ka continue ko ako at Home Secretary nya men fo ay men bondi jako Boris Johnson ole la Prime Minister alam man sakunda men nyaton kala wol santen ko ete danna pour ka je ko ka visa ko ko le Gambia bol men ba ngini kan kata Angleterre ka men abi ka ko nafandi sang ate danno damala de bari binana bankol men be balanta pour que la molta la criminal men be la banko kan ke murundi la bankol kan imbe la wol bele kan ani bina butero la le kan ka mena penalty pour mon naton ila balang pour ni kafu nyoma do ko ke comme in karafulo be momor ni nyanta men taman le nyon banko kotan la Carol ko kabrin nyin ko nata point nyin se bal continue da pour ka kol bondi men be den daylo la men be ko comme social comme men nata ka kisani maka men kelatan well as the petition horizon enter comme nyim mu feneti français o kan ko ka men horizon entry for the on diplomatic comme nyim kulati men nata na findi comme ni nata banku nim banku tema kangol men be tema ni na diplomatic incident la karola comme kol men ka soto tema sago famfa niaji be won a Gambian diplomat comme Gambia la diplomat ni ay nyim fo ko correspondent wala mu nyin kibar talambe o ma fangala that we are surprised comme kete jakal ko de tremako men me yilla men man kuma ka men finta ten comme ka men roison entry for the on diplomatic incident comme nyin ko nyin membe kerenten ko niaji ba manta comme ka ke diplomatic ko nyin aman ka diplomatic côté comme anyanta ka ke nyame comme a itandi nyame comme ala nyin vocabulary me ka for reason they entry for on diplomatic incident nonetheless kane obe niaji be data nyawnya ko niaji be nyin anaman da hanin do man ning komen ka je ko fanan home secretary komen ka balanko niaji be mansakunda will impose komen kata nyawnya itol binana ka fen la Gambia ka membe ko visa komen ka molbula men yanda ka dung Angleterre banko kan komen nina ta visa la karola ko anim fanan bankol men e man pare ni e kaf nyoma pour mun nangen deportation ko la men bol kono those who are abusing anim men fanan be landa tambo ke kan komen ila hospitality la komen makoro men nyanta ka soto nin landa tambo ke kan jero it is also revealing yim bondi jete fanan ko that the Gambia took komen Gambia na taro ke mo nani da male yen criminal men foten anim fanan na men ke wolen rong dabo do kotangol to men be ko criminal men yanta ke sayni Gambia banko ka be kamala komen jabiro la karola ni nata nyin correspondent men be jeto ko Gambia no la diplomati ani wala diamuda of course ako yaji be jabiro nyin na karola ko ay men fo correspondent nyin ko di compliance comme men fo ka wala nyinte ko also we accepted is media is accusing amaja balanka na kuala membe ko right wing comme ka mena bulba karola processal press ni na karola men na taro ke bankola ka ke hostage di comme ka banko ta ka kidnap comme kuala membe ko kol membe batande kan vulnerable people comme mol membe nyin ko kono membe ko asylum seekers sol latin ka balang la asylum wala nim fana kana je ko ka do ko ta ka songol talla ka indol ta wala ko balang do kotangol men mu ko vulnerable people ko home office la diamula na jabiro ko men ko to our inquiries ko be men kisi kan non ko men folen into Gambia is one of our most trusted allies ko Gambia bankule men akita bankule men kafunyo ala karola men ilata Gambia la baba ke na Africa ma fonyin because we rightly pointed out ko men na ka fintin troke ko kolla membe ko UK olam Angleterre takes back coming Angleterre ye ni dandila ko Angleterre ke la molta le men ye kujawo ke wandi bankol kam bantala ko kamala niajibe we are equally action sai faname men ni kan pour basic killing kaje ko membe ko Gambia la karola ate ko kilon nin la criminal be Angleterre banko kam men yanta ke findo Gambia fana yanta ka ulta ke murunna la banko kam bari niajibe for others to also do same comme watul lafita wala ron comme ke o menke fon do kotan finance o keno nyame ko sofa comme be kola la membe ko mo wuli wulol ka soton kol banko kan jeto men be batun roke gam pour be murundula ila banko kan nyame home secretary men dante anim fanan ayin fo fanan ko to fix ayin lahido ta ko kolla men kuma ata baka comme la broken asylum system on be la banko kan ba katla pour kaje ko adila bamba ay beti ay tilin so ñina ko ko de men bota o ma fa ñina ngana gibe fonse kililano kamba ko en baro yo mariolo be dan na because nonte na recording system ut nang allow la data freeze na upload no la station onint to kamala be dan na kibar dol men fanan to the point la kibarol to ngi briefly ma be fo la bar nga jamala fo men kumayata kono o kamala so nta bulajang we call it a day or we call it a week till on Monday, in Alasan.